There we go.
All right, gang. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to mute everybody just in case we get some background noise and things along those lines from that. But you guys will be able to unmute yourself if you have questions, things along those lines. I encourage you to kind of hold as many questions as you can kind of till the end of it, just because we have a lot to unpack tonight with Scoutbook. If you're not currently using Scoutbook, I highly recommend you do it. We have, I think, somewhere between 60 and maybe 60+% of the units in our council right now or in our district that are using Scoutbook the way it sounds. But it's a wonderful free thing from Scouts BSA organization. It works really well for troops and packs. To that point, I am the Cub Master for Pack 369 in Newburgh, and I'm an Assistant Scout Master for Troop 301 out of Methodist Temple. So I have 2 scouts in the program right now. I have an Eagle Scout and a Webelow Scout. So we're going to jump into my Scoutbook account and look at some different things from the Cub Scout as well as the Scouts BSA perspective. And then with that, hopefully that will answer any questions that you all have with utilizing Scoutbook. So I'm going to share my screen here and we will jump right in. So first and foremost, get this bar moved somewhere here. We've got just going to Scoutbook. So the address for Scoutbook is scoutbook.scouting.org. And then you're going to have the login up on the upper right to be able to log in to that. Your login for this is going to be the same as your my.scouting.org login. So with that, as you get new scouts, as you get new parents that are coming on board and new leaders as well, the first thing that they need to do is they need to register, whether that's online or whether you're doing paper applications. That all needs to be turned into the council, and the council is who gets them put in. Once they are fully registered with Scouts BSA, they will automatically populate into your Scoutbook. And so once you log into Scoutbook, you'll start at the home screen here, and then you'll end up, I always click to going to my dashboard, and this takes me to my specific page that has my account, has my family here. And so any parents that log in, and they're going to see their kids that are there. And so if they don't see both their kids or all 3 of their kids or all 12 of their kids, that's something that we can assist with, of making sure they get connected with that. When they are filling out their application, it's important that whoever's email address is on that application is the email address that's used to set up the my.scouting.org account. So we've had a number of parents that'll put the dad's name on the application and they'll put the mom's email address. And then the dad wants to come back later and say, well, I want my Scoutbook account as well. Well, his name's already in there, but it's a different email address. And so there's one email address per user when utilizing Scoutbook. And so that's an important thing as you're registering people. You want to just tell them for ease purposes that whoever's name on the application is the same email that needs to go with that. That way, for this purpose, everybody can have their respective email addresses for that. And so as a leader, I have my DIN that's listed on the bottom as well, that I can easily go straight to my DIN page from my dashboard, or I can go into the respective units to be able to take care of some different things. And so like if I want to click into my DIN, I can just hover over the Webelow's DIN 4. I click on that, that's going to take me to my DIN, to where I can immediately go in and start planning things and doing things for my DIN specifically. If you're a Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, Scout Master, Assistant Scout Master, anything along those lines, then you can go from your dashboard, you can go straight to your unit. And we're going to start on the Cub Scout side of it this evening, just because there's a few more things to show on the Cub Scout side than on the Scouts BSA side. But by clicking on that unit, it automatically shows me each DIN, tells me how many scouts are in the DINs. I can then click from there to the pack roster and see the full roster. I can send a message from here to where if I'm needing to send an immediate message out, our pack uses this as our communication platform. So with that, when we need to send a message, we're sending out via Scoutbook versus trying to do email list or anything else along those lines. Everything is in this system here. can pull different pack reports, can export data. I can edit the pack. And some additional information down here at the bottom that I honestly haven't used too much on this, but the Cub Scout Adventure Survey is something I think we're going to start using this next year to see if we can get additional information from our scouts. On the top of the page, it does talk about the upcoming events that we have specifically coming on in the pack. So we have our committee meeting coming up. We've got Den 4 has a Den meeting. We have our pack meeting, the Council Spookeries on our calendar. So if we click into the roster, it'll take us to the roster, and then we can see every single scout that's there if it decides to load this evening. And as there it goes. So any new scout that's going to come in is going to automatically pre-fill into this roster here. Any new leader is also going to be on this here to where that's all listed. So if you need to go look at a leader, and you can see all the different leaders of the different positions that they have in Scout Book. We've got our committee member and outdoor unit, outdoor activities chair. We have den leaders here, and there's den admins, and then just assistant den leaders that are not necessarily admins of the den. We typically make all of our leaders admins for their respective dens, so everybody can fill things out. And then going through here, and it shows all the different scouts from that. If they have the link here, and they've been linked to ScoutNet on that. And so it's just kind of a good way to look down and make sure everybody should have all three logos on here for that. If they don't, then it'd be something to take a look and contact the council and say, is this scout not approved to be in the unit or not from that. So we're going to jump into, so at the very top, you can kind of go back and forth. You get there's the dashboard, the home button, and then the entire pack. As I go into jumping into my den specifically here to be able to do some advancement things. You can see the Weeblo Den 4 is up there. I can click back here and go right back to the pack as need be. So we've got our upcoming events specifically for our dens. We have the Woods of Weeblos coming up. We have our October den meeting. And then I've got each individual scout, and also has what their current rank is, and then their percentage to the next rank. And so we've only had a couple meetings this year, and so you looking, I can tell who's been to meetings this year and who has not at this point in time, who came to the camp out and who did not, just by the percentage of where they're at to the next rank. By clicking this sprocket here, you can show the next rank, you can show parents and guardians information, you can show date of birth. I always like to have the next rank because that just gives me a quick look at, is there a scout that I need to reach out to? Maybe they're not getting the emails. They don't know that we've been having meetings, so they've missed them. We haven't been able to get a hold of them this year to see what's going on for their scouting adventure. Are they still continuing to plan on continuing with us or not? And so I like the percentage too. It just gives me a quick look to say, okay, who do I need to look at, especially when it gets down to the end of the year and saying, hey, you know, we've got Jackson here, he's at 6%, everybody else is 88%. I need to talk to Jackson, see what we need to do, get him caught up on that. So with that, if one of the parents here, or we need to add a leader, we've got the add a leader button, and it goes through and allows you to search for their name. You can search by email address or search by the BSA number, member ID. And then with that, we can add their position of what they would be, assistant den leader. And if we want them to be an admin, we would click that there. The permissions that they would have for the scouts, is it the same for all scouts, or we want to have it custom to where then we can go in and say, you know what, we want them to only be able to view profile of this scout, and we can set that permission. So you can set that permission here as well when adding new leaders of what you're wanting to do. And you can do this on the roster page as well, if you're adding new leaders that way for that, of what their roles would be. We'll go back into the den here. And so with this, what I like on this here is the time saving capabilities that you have. So at the bottom of the roster page as well as each DIN page, there's a button that says quick entry. So I can click that quick entry and say, we want to enter adventures. And so I know like this next DIN meeting, we're going to be covering the Into the Woods elective. So it brings up all the requirements and it allows you to choose. So if Caden was there, Davis was there, Ethan was there, Keegan was there, you go through all the different names, everybody that was there. I can choose the scouts. I can choose the date. Say if our DIN meeting was today. And then I can select what we did. If we covered everything, I can select all. If we just did 1, 2, and 3, I can select that. And then I can save that. I can put comments if need be. I can also approve it automatically. As a leader, I like to, usually when I'm clicking things that have been done, I go ahead and approve it. That way it goes ahead and gets pushed to our advancement chair so that they can go buy the necessary items to then be able to present those at our next PAC meeting or Court of Honor if they're doing this for scouts. But it allows to where I can say every single one of these scouts is done. And I can press save and it will automatically award the 7 scouts that I selected this requirement. I'm not going to click that because they haven't done it yet. But I love the quick entry factor of it because previously you had to go into every single scout and then go click every single thing individually, which you still can do to say, okay, if Keegan specifically, we come down here. So you have the edit profile where you can edit their information. The membership here, if Keegan were to decide he no longer wants to do scouts, it would break my heart, but I can come in, I can click his membership and I can choose the end date for that and then update. And that would remove Keegan from our roster at that point in time. So as you're going through and during charter, these will all be pulled out as is during recharter. But if you're trying to keep things up to date for recharter or different things, or people are no longer involved, so you don't want them to get the notifications and things like those lines, you can change their membership there from that. So on their individual page, it's got their name, shows the percentage to the rank, but it has the parents there. If the parents have the link here, then they also have connected, which means when they receive the email and says connect with your scout to Scout Book, they have gotten that and they've actually gone into Scout Book. So if you have one that's not connected, then they may not be receiving the emails that you're sending out. They may not be receiving notifications. So it's a good opportunity to reach out and just chat with them on that. You can look at the individual connections. Each unit's a little different on that. On our end of it, every single leader is connected to their respective DIN, and then the leaders that are higher up are connected to every single scout to where they can see different things on that. We do give every leader access to be able to view scouts information just in case we are out and about and they need to get a hold of the scouts' parents and they don't have them in their phone because they're not necessarily in their DIN. They can jump into Scout Book here and be able to find that scout's parents' information to be able to touch base with them on that. So clicking into advancement here for Keegan, I click advancement, it brings up and says, what do we want to look at? And so I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to work on the Webelos. On the Cub Scout side of it, you cannot award anything to any of the scouts until they have earned their Bobcat. So for all the new scouts, they have to get the Bobcat first before you can get everything put in and approved on any of the rest of their scouting adventures. So on this here, he's been working on the geology Earth Rocks adventure. And so with this, I can go in and I can select for him the different things that he's done. So we have looked at different kinds of rocks and minerals while hunting on with the family here. I can choose a different date. If it's not today, I can choose today and I can press leader approved and recorded. So I select today and it automatically saves. So you want to click the leader approved and recorded first. Otherwise, it's going to come up with a different colored check mark. So when it first goes in, if I just go in and say, okay, we're going to explain what the word geology means, I say today, but I don't click the leader approved and recorded, it gets a green check box that says it's been completed, but a leader is not signed off on that yet. So if parents are going in and clicking the button, they're going to have the ability to get the green arrow. Once it's recorded and approved by the leader, it becomes a blue. And then if it's awarded, it becomes a gold check mark. So that's a way for you to be able to kind of take a look and see what different things are happening on this. And so I can go through and check all the different ones. And then at the bottom, it shows completed, leader approved, and awarded at the bottom there. And so it shows his percentage going up to where he's completed 18% of this here. If I go back to my den, and once again, a lot of this is very similar for Scouts BSA, looking at advancement and merit badges. If I click into den reports, it shows needs approval report. And so I can click on that and it'll tell me everything that needs approved. So I have multiple things that are needing approved for different scouts. If I'm aware of what they are, then I can go ahead and click approve all. If I question what any of them are, then I can go in and start clicking and say, okay, what is this? Let me click into this respective scout and see what they're needing to have approved, who put it in, and it will tell you who put it in, whether it's their parent or whether it's another leader. That will be noted on the requirement, and then you can then approve or not approve it, whatever is working for your respective scout there. So jumping real quick, I'm going to go to the troop side of it. So I can see we have each of our patrols here. We have on our ISA, we've done aged out scouts, and we have an inactive patrol that allows us in the year when people are kind of moving in and out before recharter happens, we can move scouts in between patrols and things along those lines. And that's all done through the membership page. But we have, once again, we have the leaders, and if it's pending, then that means they've not accepted that leadership yet to be able to go through that. So the roster is very similar on this is what it is with the pack. I'm going to click on my son here. And so it does, once again, you've got merit badges, palms, all the information there. If they're holding a leadership position, shows what it is, has the BSA number. And here, and I didn't talk about this on the Cub Scout side, but it's here on the Scouts BSA side as well, to where everything that they've earned is right here at the very top. And so if the scout goes through into this, or their parents go through and they look at all these merit badges, they're comparing versus their sash, and they go, this one's not on the sash. What is this? They can click into that and say, this is, Connor completed the art merit badge on 8/17/2020. They say we're missing the art merit badge, and talk and can chat with the respective advancement chair for that. So you still have the same thing here with the edit profile, Connor's membership, Connor's payment logs. You can keep track of payments here. Our treasurer does not. On the connection side of it, it does show you can go through and see who all's connected to their respective scout. On the parent side of it, if they're a parent, so I'll click in here. As you can see, this is grayed out. I cannot uncheck the parent box. That is something that can only be done at the council side of it. Parents will have full control over their scout books accounts, and that's something that the council or at Scouts BSA has decided for that. So there's nothing you can do on that portion of it. If they're a parent of the scout, they will have modification of that. So up here, there's a back button. But if there was something to say, if one of the adult leaders is no longer a leader and we want to take away the connection, then we can go in and click on the respective leader and take away their connection to that scout. Keep hitting the wrong button here. So with this, once again, you have advancement, and there's awards as well. So a number of the things fall under advancement, to where you can click into the advancement, and the same thing falls where they have each of the completed items. You have golds for awarded, but you can go in and be checking the boxes and say, have they completed this? On their advancement. And going down to the awards, so there's different awards for Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA naturally, And so with that, you can go through. And so if he becomes a 50 miler, I can check this and he can be awarded the 50 miler. The religious emblems, computer is a little sensitive this evening, is down here, the religious knot. Keeps thinking I'm clicking into stuff here. So the religious knot is here. That's where you're going to find that. The recruiter badge is here. And so you have all these different awards to where if this is something to where your scouts are looking for different things to go for, you may not know what the National Outdoor Achievement Award is for riding versus hiking. So you can click on that and it will give you all of the requirements for that. You have to be first class. There's apprenticeship, certain amount of hiking that can be logged through here, orienteering, geocaching, pathfinding, complete 100 miles of backpacking. All of that's there to where you don't have to go searching for that. That's all in Scoutbook of everything that is on that. And so what I like about Scoutbook is it makes everything pretty easy where it's at. So at the same time, you've got, so he's a ordeal member of Order of the Arrow there. So it shows all of those parts there. Activity logs is something I think is used more in Scouts BSA than what it is on Cub Scouting. But with that, you can add hiking, camping, service hours. All of this can be tracked here on advancements.scouting.org to where that will go into Scoutbook and go back and forth so that you can keep track of those camping nights and the hiking. While I do encourage the scouts to still do that on their own in their books, this is something to where you can do that to where if someone's asking for the camping merit badge, how many nights they have, you can go in the activity log and say there's 47 nights of camping. It's 57.6 miles of hiking. You have 92.5 hours service hours. So all those are taken care of here on that to where you can keep track of those specific activities. And that's under the activity log. One thing that I think is really nice on the report side of it, down here in the reports, there's the Eagle application. So as your scouts are getting to the rank of Eagle, it's populating an Eagle application. Everything is filled in for you. So one of the most difficult things that we know we had difficulty with was putting in all the merit badges and all the dates. All of this has to match up for the Eagle applications to be accepted. And so this is all pre-filled for you to where you just have to go in and add their references here, but all of the dates for every single one of their ranks, all the dates for their recent leadership, all of that is pre-filled in. Project when it's finished. So there's just some minor things to do, but the dates are all filled in for you. So I love that spot. And once again, that comes from reports. And then you just go down to Eagle application and that will take it to the page where everything is completely filled out for that. So last thing I wanted to show before we get into questions, well, I have two more things. So going to advancement specifically on Scouts BSA. When you're wanting to start a merit badge, you can click start a merit badge. And you can choose, so if Connor wanted to start the American Business Merit Badge, we click in here and you can actually print the blue card out of here. So if you are one that, a unit that likes to have the paper blue cards, that's something that you can click here and print from there. Invite counselor. You can invite your merit badge counselor from there. Go back to on the homepage of the troop, there's a merit badge counselor list. And so you can click in and say, okay, I want to know American Business. I want 50 miles from where I'm at and who's available. And I'm going to click and it tells me every single merit badge counselor within a 50-mile radius for American Business. So Edwin's on here tonight. If anybody was wanting to do American Business, by golly, there he is. And so it shows all the different merit badges you're looking for. So if you're looking for a counselor for any merit badges, you're able to search through Scout Book. If they are registered with the council for that respective merit badge, that will be that's there on the merit badge counselor list. We're going to go back real quick here to the pack, and I'm going to click on the upcoming events, and it shows the calendar here, and you can see the different dens have different color coding as well as the patrols. And so when you're scheduling events, you can see what's coming up on this. And so we have the Woods of Webelos for both of the units there. And so if I need to add an event, I can add an event here. And it comes up and it chooses whose calendar do you want to be on. And so on mine, I'm going to choose the pack. $369 calendar. The event type is a pack meeting. And so it pre-fills everything that was there for the past pack meeting that was there. So then here I can put November pack meeting, and you can put your entire calendar in for the entire year. Location is going to pre-fill if it's a pack meeting. If it's something other than a pack meeting, maybe it's a committee meeting, maybe it's a training day, resident day camp, other, you can set those there. We're going to keep this one as a pack meeting. You can select your date and time. So our pack meetings are always the third Tuesday of the month. 6:30 is our start time, and our end time is 7:30. If it's an outdoor activity, I can choose. I can say it's going to be outdoor. If it's a service project, I can do that. If we're going to do it in actual advancement, I can plan advancement, and then I can choose. We're going to do Bobcat badge that night. And I can set that, and that's going to show that that's there on the event that we're going to do the Bobcat badge. Down at the bottom, I can type a description. And on it, if it comes up and has no invitees, you can click on the invitee. If you do not choose invitees, then nobody's going to know about the event. So on my end of it, for pack events, I always click the leaders, select all. I go to parents, select all. I do the members, select all. Now, an important thing here with this as well, if you set up your entire calendar before the year starts, when you get new scouts that come in, they will not pre-fill into any event as an invitee that's already created in the system. So you'd have to go back into the events as you add scouts and add them through the in the invitees. Otherwise, they will not get notifications of that event. So I set, and so you can see all of the folks that are going to be registered there or that are invited to go. You can set the RSVP, which will allow people to say whether they're coming or not. If there's permission slips, you can add that as well. And then you can schedule reminders. If you don't schedule reminders, nobody gets reminded. So I can send one now. I can send one 1 hour before, 2 hours before, 4 hours before, 19 hours before, 1 day before, 3 days before. And so you can schedule all of these, and you can schedule multiple invites. When I press set, it'll show all the invites that I've done. And the second I press save, if there is a now, there's an email that's going to go out to every single one of these invitees telling them that this event's going to happen. They then have the ability to go into the calendar event, and we'll go back to the calendar real quick here. And so like we can go to the Woods of Webelo event, and they can, this is what they will see when they click on the link from the email. And so this here talks about the Woods of Webelo. From that, they can then go in and say, yes, no, maybe, I'm coming. So they're all put down as a maybe on that. Like I know for Woods of Webelos, my wife is not going. So you get the no on that. But you can see all the scouts that are going from that, and that way it helps you get an idea of how many people are coming. So encouraging your parents to utilize this is a great way to not have to track down people and say, how many people are going to come to the Spookery? How many people are going to be coming to the Woods of Weeblo event? How many people are coming to our camp out? Encourage them to do the RSVP, and that will help you out. On our end of it, typically our RSVPs are they're never 100% accurate, but we estimate that we're about 75% accurate. And so we know if we have 15 kids coming, we probably will end up having another 3 or 4 coming in addition to that are not on the list. So we can plan for food and everything else without having to send out a bunch of emails for that. So with that, that covers everything on my list to cover this evening. So if anybody has any questions, they are welcome to ask them at this point in time. You can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask up.
So this is just a logistical question. I have to apologize. I missed the first 15 minutes, but it looks like the session's being recorded. If we were wanting to go back and watch this again, where could we access that?
I'm going to try to get it up on the council website as soon as I can. I'll be on vacation next week, so it won't be for a little bit, but it will be there as quickly as we can make it. We have some technical issues that we'll have to do with getting it to the website, but we'll get it there as quickly as we can.
Any idea where on the council website I'll find it?
We'll probably put it under resources and probably put a little click for it on the training page, but it'll most likely be under resources. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Edwin here.
Hi, Edwin. I
Can you
want to
hear me?
take the American Business Merit Badge.
All right, sounds good. Send me an invite. We'll set up a time. 2 liters deep. So the first one was really about the calendaring, where you landed perfectly where I'd like you to, because we added 20 new members to our pack, and we were like, oh boy. We set that calendar at our planning meeting, which we do in the summer, and as a good pack committee chair, I get all those events in there so all the den leaders can start planning based on what they see. Challenge is when you add almost 4 kids to each den, then it becomes a little bit of an invite logistical challenge. And I was wondering if you've ever experienced a bulk uploading or a bulk permissioning to calendaring events, or where that could be, because boy, that would save a lot of issues if you could click on the den type and bulk add invitees. That would be just fantastic.
I am not aware of that at this point in time. I know, like at the bottom of the calendar, you've got every individual event. But I don't know.
Okay, there's an idea.
I don't know of any additional, any bulk invitee of going, we have all these new scouts, invite them all.
Right.
Just because each event is potentially on each individual calendar for that of the dens versus the pack.
Right, and I was thinking, boy, if you could click on Tiger Den calendar, because it's already labeled when you go in and set that individual event, and then it's color coded. Does it have the functionality? Oh boy, could you add all those members of that den to any den invite or den designated calendar event? And that'd be really handy.
Guess I probably should go into a group that has. Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I'm clicking through to see if there's anything that.
Okay, well, certainly a future solution point, but we can collaborate and maybe give back to the council if one of us finds it.
Yeah. That's
Another one is, when I, as a new merit badge, finally in the system as a new merit badge counselor, and I'm on the counselor side of things, maybe some things to pay attention to as the counselor versus the scout needing to get information. That'd be handy. Like those buttons on the top left there.
These up here.
Yeah, well, on the troop as a unit, and then being the merit badge counselor and what you're doing for your counselees. Like, are there any tricks or things that you've used in here that are handy for, say, you don't have scouts in your unit 301, but you have them over at 305 or 315 or 399, and those scouts want to stay in contact through the scout book system, how you've been able to manage as merit badge counselor electronically.
Yeah, and I haven't done anything specifically through Scoutbook for those. A lot of times it is just communicating with the scout directly.
And then marking their achievements off so that
Marking
they
their
can be
achievements. And I
awarded.
have had scouts so that's where the inviting the
Okay,
counselor
yeah.
works out to where when you invite the counselor for I guess I need to, well, there's the American Business
Yeah,
got
right.
added there for him. Invite counselor
Okay.
here, that's where you're going to be able to then add and say, okay, they can then see that scout and that'll put them as a connection
Got it.
on that as well as like going through. So like going through here specifically, Brian Connor is a merit badge counselor as well as an adult leader for Connor. So I could
Got it.
take him off as an merit badge counselor if I needed to. But that's, and then it shows where what their merit badge counselor for.
Got
Right
it.
here below.
Excellent.
But that does give you the connection there to where you can then search for the scout in Scoutbook and be able to send them messages and things through Scoutbook.
And another question on a different side, which would probably correlate to both PAC and Scout, probably even venturing if we were on that conversation. Do you use the payment system that's correlated with this for outstanding unit payments or whatever there may be, or charging for t-shirts or something, simple things like that, you know, admission to the cave, Marengo Cave, because you're going to do a one night camp out with in the fall, and you want to collect all those fees.
Yeah, and so our units do not specifically, we have a treasurer for both of them that has, they're doing different avenues for that. But there is the payments where you can add the payment here, name description. So it could be t-shirt payment or Philmont payment, as we're going to Philmont, the amount.
Yep.
$25 because we buy expensive t-shirts.
Oh, there you go.
And then kind of going, so you could update to where that could be logged here. And then from the reporting side of it, troop reports, there are payment log reports that you could then look at and keep track of payments through Scoutbook here. Like I said, that's not something that we've specifically used. But in the reports, there's a lot of different reports. You can build your own reports. And so you've got some of those here of needs purchasing. So like for advancement chairs, real quick, we didn't cover this, but the needs approval report, once it's done approved, then it goes to the needs purchasing report. So once it's approved, it'll automatically go to the needs purchasing report, and your advancement chairs can click on the needs purchasing report and automatically it will tell you everything that needs purchased. You can print this report off and you can sort it by scouts, and then you can cut the report in pieces. And so we've got Bobcat ranks that are needed to do. We've got a Bear Goes Fishing for a lot of them that need to be bought. So this is everything that our advancement chair will purchase from the Scout Shop. And you can email this to the Scout Shop. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we've done this where they will start to put this all together and say, okay, we need to pull 4 Paws on the Path adventures. And then, like I said, you can then connect them to the respective scouts, and you can sort them that way to where you can cut them off if you put them in Ziploc bags to hand them out to the scouts to make sure they get everything. This is an easy way to be able to do that. And then this will create a PO, add the PO number there. And then once that's done and it's added to the PO, they can approve, mark everything as awarded. And that's after it's all done, to where you've got the open PO here. And so you can see everything that's done by rank of those.
That's very handy. We use that, and it is a amazingly handy tool for our advancement cheers and for the Scout Shop. Makes their job easy when they're looking for badges, or you're calling ahead to make sure they're going to be ready for your unit pack meeting or board of or court of honor.
And so at the bottom here, we talked about the send message, but if I actually click the message just to show you guys that screen there, you can actually choose, I want to send message to just these people. You can choose hold ins, and this is the same thing. You can say, I want to send an email, or I want to send a text message. And then you can type out the message and then send it. You can, we always use blind contacts on that, but you can insert upcoming events. So if you need to send a message, then you can do that. And then you have some people that have selected that they do not want to receive any emails. So they're not going to get any emails, but you could send text messages if they've approved text messages to be done. And that'll go out to everybody respectively as well. Any other questions this evening?
Yes, chartered organization and rep. We're sponsored by Kiwanis. We recently had a change of leadership, and so it's easy to swap out leaders, but those representing, I assume, have to have their youth protection to be
Yes.
added in. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah, they need
Wasn't
youth
sure if that was
protection.
in effect at this point.
Yeah, they will need, so they would have to fill out a adult application and complete their youth protection. And then that would
Okay,
get turned into the council, and then they would get added.
Yeah, I don't even think it shows up for you guys unless they're actually put in on our side. So
Correct. They won't,
Okay,
they will
great.
not show up unless it's put in on the council side.
yeah, I wish it had like a pending and it could show you guys like where they were in that process. But the only time it really does that is when you're in the recharter portal. So
And with that as well, when you get added new scouts on this page here, and it's the same for Scouts BSA. So on your main page, there will be a list of scouts not in the den down in this area underneath all the dens listed, or patrols. So when you get new scouts, they end up being right here. And then you click into the scout and edit their membership. And you can assign them. So like here, I can reassign den. And so I'll just say unassigned den, and you can click this and say, we're going to then put them into one of these other dens, or whatever den they need to be assigned to for that. Something else on the Cub Scout side of it, as your dens do advance, at the very bottom of the den page, there's an edit den. Oh, sorry. There's a drop down here where you can look at some of the other dens. I'm going to go to the bear den. There's advanced in. Naturally, with the Weeblos in, I couldn't advance that. If you click advanced in, that will move them up to the next respective rank. So from wolves to bear and bear to Weeblo. But once you click that, you cannot go back to the previous rank and add in achievements. So if they did some electives and things and you had not awarded them, that all has to be put in before you advance the DIN. Otherwise, you won't be able to award those respective achievements.
And moving those dens, Webelow twos at crossover over to the troop. Any recommended actions?
So with that, that's going to have to be transferred from the council side of it. So when they move from Cub Scouts to Scouts BSA, they have to fill out a new application to be a member of that new unit. And so that's all things that will happen on the Scout council side of it, to where once they fill out the new application, gets turned in by the troop, then they'll show up in the troops scout book, and you can end their membership in the Cub Scout book. So you just end the membership in the pack.
Or you
Excellent.
can transfer them over My Dot Scouting, but I don't know. It's a weird process. So
I was gonna say, I don't know, can we do that on our end, or is that you all have to do that?
You can, it's like a thing. We have to like click a button at some point or something like that, but you can transfer them through My Dot Scouting. I would recommend doing the paper application anyways, because then you can get updated information on the scouts and that kind of stuff. Updated parent information sometimes too, which, helps not just the unit, but the council, get updated email addresses, cell phones, all that fun stuff. So that's why I always recommend to units to go for paper applications, just because then you get updated everything.
So one thing I know we have ran into to keep in mind for everybody is, so we've had parents that have become leaders after they've been a parent. So they come in, their kids start as lions, and they come in, by the time they get to wolf, they say, you know what, I want to be an assistant den leader. I want to become the secretary, or I want to be the outdoor advancement chair. Once they put in their information, they put the adult application in, typically what happens is they end up with two profiles. They end up with their parent profile, and then they end up with the leader profile. You have to contact the council to have those two merged. Unfortunately, that's not something we can do on our end of it. I'm hoping at some point in time, Scouts BSA will give us the access for that, but right now that is only able to be done at the council level or above, to be able to merge those two accounts to get them to be one together.
We can hope one day.
Jen's the one you want to contact for that at the council. She's phenomenal at that.
Yep.
Any other questions this evening?
All right, well, we can wrap it up here. Well, thank you, Joe, for everything, and thank you for allowing us to record this for all those people that are stuck at Fall Fest this week, and a multitude of other reasons why they can't be here. So, and like I said, we'll try to get this up on the council website as quickly as possible. I'm going to get it to the office here tomorrow after, I'll get it brought into the office, and then we'll get working on getting it onto the website as quickly as possible. We're going to have to edit and do all the other fun stuff for the video.